And thanks once again for joining us here on SCVTV. I'm Dave Caldwell. We have an absolute logjam at the top of the Foothill League standings. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings. And as you can see, there are 3 teams with 2 to play that are tied for first place in the Foothill League. And 2 of those 3 teams, the Canyon Cowboys and the Valencia Vikings, square off tonight. So what we have then is the possibility of a tie for the league championship should one of these 2 teams win tonight and on Thursday night, and Golden Valley also win 2 games. Those 2 teams will be tied. We'll talk about what that means, tiebreakers and all of that. But first off, here in Game 9 of the 10-game season, we have the Canyon Cowboys taking on the Vikings. Huge, huge, huge game. Joining me as always is Greg Herrick. Is this a huge game?
Well, I think it's an elimination game. I think the loser of this out of the hunt for the championship. It's just a matter of fact. I mean, you're going to come with 3 losses facing the 2 teams with 2 losses, and you have to look at the final game. Who Canyon's playing, who's Golden Valley playing. But I think you look at tonight as an elimination game for one of these teams.
All right, now let's go back and start talking about the Canyon Cowboys. As I said, they're 6-2 coming into this game. And let's talk about Brian Naoji, one of the seniors, 6'4". He's scoring nearly 10 points a game, leads this team in rebounds at nearly 6.5 a game as well. Brian Naoji, when we have seen him, Greg, playing down here on this court, he has been a huge leader and a huge presence down in that low post.
Well, he's what we call a force. I mean, he's a force on the floor. He rebounds the ball at both ends. He can put it on the bounce and get to the rim. He's a complimentary player for their other players. Coach really relies on him to score a lot of their insights on stickbacks. So he's a big factor and will probably be a big factor tonight.
For the Valencia side, Tanner Tredick. This kid has been huge when he needs to be huge. He's the leading rebounder on this Valencia squad at 6.8 rebounds a game, and he's also chipping in with some points as well. But the main thing is the defense for him. The last 4 games, Tanner Tredick has been in double figures pulling down rebounds and oftentimes helping his teammates pull down offensive rebounds. He is blocking out 2 and in some cases 3 opposing players, allowing his teammates to be able to get in there and get an offensive rebound.
Well, what I think he's done is played himself into a position to be an all-Foothill League first teamer. I mean, he's led this team to this point. I think if Valencia wins out and wins the league title, I think you got to put him on that team. I mean, Lonnie Jackson scores all the points, makes all the passes, but this guy goes in and does all the work. You can't win these championships there. And Tanner Tredick is the guy who complements Lonnie Jackson the best on this team.
In football, there's an old saying, the linemen play in the dirt so the backs can play in the stars. Well, Tanner Tredick has been a lineman mentality. You talk about it, kind of a lunch pail mentality as well. He's a hard worker, and he's the guy, one of the reasons why this team is in this game playing for the championship. So here we go. Huge game. Can't say it enough. Settle in, get ready, because here we go. SCVTV presenting the Foothill League Game of the Week. The Canyon Cowboys taking on the Valencia Vikings. That tip-off right after this. So game number 9 of the 10-game season, 2 of the 3 teams that are tied for first place in the Foothill League, the Valencia Vikings taking on the Canyon Cowboys, and the Cowboys having their starting offense, their starters, announced to this crowd. Coley Apse, one of your favorites, just as summer, he's going to be the starting point guard for this team, 6'1", averages 9 points a game. Paul Naoji, twin brother of Brian Naoji. Brian getting announced to this crowd as well. Paul, a 6'2" senior, 3.5 points a game. Paul, 6'4" senior, nearly 10 points a game. Wesley Bartol, the leading scorer on this team, and the leading scorer, the second leading, I'm going to get this right eventually, the 3rd leading scorer in the Foothill League. And Trey Adams is going to get the start. 6'1" senior, 8 points a game and nearly 3.5 rebounds a game. The Canyon Cowboys coached by Chad Phillips in his 10th year, 17-7 overall. And as I said, 6-2 in league play. They average 60.3 points a game. Now, for the Valencia Vikings, Jake Kelfer, the point guard. He's a junior, 5'8", averages 3 assists a game, which ranks him second on this team behind Lonnie Jackson. Brandon Bennett is a 5'11" senior, 6.2 points a game. Aaron Spargo getting the start tonight. He's a 6'2" senior, 3.9 points a game, and nearly 4.5 rebounds a game. Tanner Tredick, we talked a lot about him during our pregame, 5 points a game, 6.8 rebounds, a leading rebounder on this squad. Great technique down inside. If you're trying to teach a young man how to rebound, watch the way 22 plays defense. He does it textbook. And of course, Lonnie Jackson. All-world Lonnie Jackson, 6'3", just a junior, but he leads the league in scoring and is in the top of nearly every offensive category. This is the second time the Valencia Vikings and the Canyon Cowboys have played each other. The last time was Canyon coming out on top, played over at Canyon, 59-53. A low-scoring affair, Greg Herrick, and that plays into the hand of the Canyon Cowboys.
Well, I think that's what they're going to try to accomplish tonight, is slow the game down, make it a grind out. I call Canyon the grinder tonight. They're going to want to get it in a half-court game, both on offense and defense, whereas Valencia will try to get it extended to a full-court game. You know, Lonnie Jackson, we talk about him all the time. It's just a pleasure to watch him play. You know, you think you're going to watch him forever. And, you know, he's a junior, and we'll get to see him again next year. But, you know, the viewers ought to take note of his fine play. He's just a pleasure to watch.
Well, we talked about how Lonnie Jackson leading this league in scoring at 24.3 points. He's number 3 in field goal, in the 3-point field goals made. He's actually 5th in block shots. He is 5th in rebounding, number 1 in steals. I mean, the list goes. Number 2 in the league in assists as the Canyon Cowboys win the tip-off. They're in their road green uniforms with Vegas gold and, I believe it's Vegas gold and white trim. Of course, Valencia in their home white uniforms. This is Wesley Bartol, too hard off the glass. Then Bartol fighting for the rebound, lobbying and saying it should be his ball, but no. Levon Zakarian, the official, with Bobby Rappaport saying, nope, it's going to be Valencia basketball.
And if you grind it out like Canyon wants to tonight, you got to get a better shot opportunity than the one they just had. Coach Phillips can't be very happy with that shot selection. They're dropping back in the zone tonight to try to make this, slow this game down.
First possession of the game for the Valencia Vikings, and immediately Canyon is going to get called for the foul. It's going to be Paul Naoji away from the basketball. He has the task tonight, at least during this possession, guarding Lonnie Jackson. In fact, he is sticking with him, and he'll be telling you what flavor gum he's chewing pretty soon.
Well, I think they opened up with a zone just to give him a different look.
That Jackson feeding into Aaron Spargo, and the first 2 points of this game belong to the Valencia Vikings. And then Kelfer down the court knocks the ball out of bounds. And so Canyon will maintain the possession. Yeah,
Valencia went into a little press there to try to extend the game into a full court tilt tonight. So Canyon has to, you know, negotiate pressure in a full court situation.
This is Paul Naoji inside to his brother Brian. Now Coley Apsey for 3. It's going to be short, but the ball goes right into the hands of Paul Naoji. His shot too hard, and the rebound comes down to Lonnie Jackson.
Yeah, those are the shots they have to make. Like I said, they're going to run a double team here at Lonnie Jackson, trying to just switch things up.
This is Jackson. And that looks like this will go against the Vikings. I believe he may have stepped out of bounds. Nope. No, there's going to be a foul away from it. Aaron Spargo called for the foul against the Valencia Vikings. So Canyon will get the ball. First turnover of the game.
Yeah, it was Spargo trying to set a pick for Lonnie Jackson. Our officials look like they're going to call it pretty tight tonight thus far.
This is Bartol on top to Brian Naoji. Now Coley Apsey to Ray Adams.
A little motion offense on the part of Canyon. Just trying to get some movement.
10 seconds on the shot clock. Brian Naoji puts the shot up, no good. Rebound comes down to, I believe that was Paul Naoji. And loose ball, Tanner Tredick is going to bring it down. A young team, the Valencia Vikings. On the floor right now, they've got 3 seniors and 2 juniors, but they've also got 3 sophomores that will get significant playing time. So this team for a championship right now. There's a great pass from Jackson to Tredick, and it's now a 4-0 Valencia lead. And a timeout called by Chad Phillips for the Canyon Cowboys. Early on here, just 5:50 to play in the first quarter, so 2 minutes and 10 seconds have ticked off, and immediately Chad Phillips calling for a timeout.
Well, he doesn't like what he's seeing. You know, they're paying a lot of attention to Lonnie Jackson, and well, they should. But what's happening is he's such an outstanding passer that he's finding the open man, and they've had 2 pretty easy baskets around the rim in the opening part of this game. He's taking time out to say, look, we need to guard Lonnie Jackson. That's well known, but we got to guard everybody else as well.
You know, and we've talked about it on this broadcast, but the coaches have referred to this before, that when the Vikings played Morningside during a non-conference game earlier this year, they were double and triple teaming Lonnie Jackson. And out, wow, this guy can pass.
Yeah, his court vision is way above average for a high school junior, and it's just going to get better as the years prevail.
This is Darnell Haggerty giving the ball off to Teray Adams, and we're going to have this one going against, it's going to be traveling called against the Canyon Cowboys. Their first turnover of this game. And now Chris Quant is going to check into the game for Teray Adams. Chris Quant, all of 5'6", but I'll tell you what, this kid plays about as big as they come here in the Foothill League.
He's going to be guarding that big monster, Jake Kelfer there, who's 5'8". So the match of the little guys.
Kelfer with the ball, gives it to Jackson. Jackson trying to get some separation, goes to his knees. He's got Haggerty on him. Tries a cross court to trying to get it over to Jake Kelfer, and that ball is going to be taken away. Here's Bartol. He's going to drive in, and traveling is going to be the call against Wesley Bartol.
I think the pace and the speed of this game is really in the hands of Valencia, and Canyon doesn't play very well under these conditions.
Bennett, as Jackson ends up on his backside. Bennett finds a lane and drives it in. 6-0 Valencia.
You know, Canyon's going to have to score a basket here to settle down. They just look a little flustered at this point. You know, you're on the road, and those things happen. But once they make a basket, I think they'll be settled down.
Here's Bartol. He's going to try a 3. There you go. Cuts the lead to 3.
They almost gave him that shot and almost challenged him to shoot it, but I guarantee you the next time they will be in his face.
Bartol, that's his 14th three-pointer, as Tredick cleaning up on the offensive boards and puts it in. It's back to a 5-point lead for Valencia's Tredick, leading all scorers with 4 points.
I thought I saw Bale there on the bench. He's coming to work tonight.
It's a big game. Here's Quant for 3. Off the front of the rim. Tredick gets the rebound. Here's Jackson. And he has the ball knocked away by Bartol. And then again knocked away. Jake Kelfer comes up with it. Steele begets steal. Kelfer from the free throw line. And he misses everything.
You know, in that particular situation, you had Kelfer and Jackson 2-on-1. And you have Kelfer shooting a jump shot from the foul line. You know, you teach kids 2-on-1 to separate, put the defensive man in the middle, make him commit one way or the other. They didn't do any of those things, and you'd want to have the ball in Lonnie Jackson's hands, I would assume.
Dylan Kawa has the basketball. Checking into the game, gives the ball to Quant. Back up on top now to Apsey. This is Quant. Apsey. 10 seconds on the shot clock. The Valencia students trying to confuse the Cowboys players. 4 seconds now on the shot clock. Here's Bartol getting into the paint. Has the ball knocked away. Kawa tries the shot, missing it. And then Tredick finally comes down with the rebound for the Valencia Vikings.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when you run the shot clock down, a lot of times you settle for a bad shot.
Lonnie Jackson, another brilliant assist, feeding Tanner Tredick. Tredick 6 points, all coming off of assists from Lonnie Jackson. 2:45 to play in the first quarter, and Valencia now leads by 7.
Canyon's going to have to find a better way to defend the other players when Lonnie Jackson has the basketball.
Bartol is 3, no good. Tredick another rebound. If you weren't with us during pregame, Tanner Tredick has scored double figures in rebounding in each of the last 4 games, including 10 against Golden Valley in a huge game that vaulted the Vikings into a tie for first place on Friday. Here's Kelfer getting into the paint. He's got it.
Yeah, and I think as this game progresses, Canyon's strategy is going to have to change. They're almost daring the other 4 Viking players on the floor to shoot the ball, and they've been doing a good job of it. So you might have to reevaluate that.
Apsa kicking out. Bartol drives in, turns around. That's going to be too hard off the heel of the rim. Battle. Spargo is going to be the last one to touch it, so Canyon will get the basketball. Troy Hamill and Griffin Nichols all checking into the game. Nichols started against Golden Valley, had been injured for most of the season, missing 13 games, getting his first action tonight. Also checking in for the Cowboys is Cody Moore. That's Moore with the basketball right there. The shot, that's a 2, and he uses the bank.
The bank is open tonight, I guess, in Santa Clarita Valley.
Quickly down the other end, Hamill to Nichols. Tredick. There's Bennett for 3, not going to work. Cody Moore gets the rebound. A 1-on-3 break. Cody Moore does the wise thing and tries to pull back and then tries to feed to Ray Adams. And Adams, I don't think, was expecting the basketball. It skips away. Turnover number 4 committed by Canyon.
And that's not their style of play. You know, out on the break like they were there with no passing lanes. You're just not comfortable playing in that style. They need to get to their own style. But what I'm seeing is they need to attack the basket around the post area instead of relying on jump shots.
There's Hamill in the corner for 2. Troy Hamill averages just under 3 points a game. He's one of those 3-pointers I talked about earlier. And already Valencia has 5 different players that have scored in this game, led by Tanner Tredick, 6 points.
They're just not taking advantage of any post action here. Everything's on the perimeter. All the screens are on the perimeter, and the shots are coming from the perimeter.
Moore feeding, trying to get the ball into Adams, going to be knocked away, stolen. Here's Stevie Sansone with 30 seconds to play in the first quarter, and Moore then poking the basketball away. Bodies on the floor. Kawa comes up with the basketball, another turnover. That's Teray Adams, and he's going to be fouled on the floor before he could get the shot off.
And I think he would have traveled had he not been fouled in that situation. It's like I said, you know, if you can put a team in an uncomfortable situation, and in this case it's Canyon on the break, a lot of times they're making their own mistakes. You don't even have to rely on them missing a shot.
Zach Davis has now checked into the game for the Valencia Vikings for Tanner Tredick.
I don't like the hand check. That's got to be a foul there.
5-second violation. So the Vikings will get the ball. They have a 9-point lead, 7.9 seconds to play in the quarter, and Valencia will get the ball.
The Canyon just does not have any rhythm up to this point in this game.
Jackson dribbling through, gets to the free throw line. Jumper at the buzzer is good. So for Lonnie Jackson, his first 2 points of this game come at the 8-minute mark of the first quarter. Valencia breaking it wide open, 11-point lead, 16-5. Second quarter when we return, SCVTV's presentation of Foothill League boys basketball.
To purchase this game on DVD, call the SCVTV Media Center at 661-251-8820 or send email to info@scvtv.com.
This is Jerry Howard, Executive Director of Pleasant View Industries, asking for your support for our 11th annual No Tap Bowling Tournament and fundraiser on Saturday, February 20th at Valencia Lanes. Pleasant View.
Second quarter about to get underway. Chad Phillips spending a lot of extra time in the huddle with his guys.
Well, I think he can't be happy with the shots they're getting, and they're running their offense. I mean, they just don't look comfortable. You know, they look edgy, like, you know, they're nervous, and it's natural to be that way. But you gotta rely on your preparation when you play in big games like this.
Valencia with the basketball. This is Lonnie Jackson getting to the right elbow. That jumper is beautiful.
And that's what happens when you guard him one-on-one. See, now they're going to try to guard him one-on-one and defend everybody else man-to-man and see if that works for a while. It didn't work in that possession.
How many pure shooters have come out of the Santa Clarita Valley like Lonnie Jackson?
Well, there's been a lot of shooters, but not as many that have the complete game like he does.
And we have a whistle away from the basketball, down low. And this one's going to go once again against Griffin Nichols. That will be his second, the team's third here in this first half for Valencia. Canyon only with one team foul. We have 7:25 to play in the first half.
Yeah, I just think they're out of sync at both ends of the court. They just look like they're nervous and edgy, and there's nothing flowing for them right now.
Apse has the ball knocked up. Bartol collects it for the Cowboys. In the corner for Apse, down inside, Brian Naoji kicking it back outside to Bartol. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Paul Naoji, 5 seconds. He's going to throw up a prayer, and it banks in.
And that's the thing, you know, every basket they've made tonight has been a struggle.
Now Hamill the other end, blocked by Brian Naoji.
And it's events like that in the game, block shots, steals, dunks, that sometimes turn the momentum around for your team. So maybe that block shot will turn Canyon around right here.
Brian Naoji ranks 4th in the league in block shots. He adds another one to that total. And we're going to have a foul. I think this one's going to go against Canyon. Paul Naoji, the one that's going to be for the foul. His second, the team's second.
Well, they caught him holding on the inbound play.
Jackson, nice pass into Davis, but knocked away by Chris Quant. Great play by the 5'6" guard Quant. Here's Apse. Feeding into Brian Naoji, and he's going to draw the foul. Naoji had a great head fake to draw Lonnie Jackson off of his feet, and then subsequently gets fouled by Stevie Sansone.
Well, and I think that's the way the Cowboys have to attack this situation. Naoji and some of their other post players are physical, strong high school basketball players. Get them in the basket area and try to draw fouls and ones, et cetera, et cetera. They're not going to beat this team relying on jump shots. It's just not going to happen. And I think I told you that block shot might have made them a little more comfortable and involved in this game psychologically.
Naoji makes both free throws. 9-point difference right now with Valencia up on top. As Jake Kelfer checks back into the game, as does Aaron Spargo for the Valencia Vikings. This is Kelfer with the basketball. Lonnie Jackson feeding into Aaron Spargo. Turn around off the glass, a little short. And the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Valencia, so Canyon will get the basketball with 6:09 to play in the first half.
And that's always the strategy with teams that play Valencia. You know, make Jackson give up the ball and see if the other kids can beat you. That was a pretty easy layup that they just missed there. So point goes to Canyon in that possession.
Coley Apse to Wesley Bartol.
Get it inside.
Ten seconds now on the shot clock. And he went out of bounds, no call as Bartol puts it in, but he slid and actually went out of bounds, but there was no call on the play. Here's Aaron Spargo down the other side, and he lays it in, and he's got 4 points.
And Chad Phillips can't be very happy with the defensive transition there, allowing that Spargo to get that layup at the expense of a Lonnie Jackson assist. He must have 5 or 6 assists already in this game, and you know, that's what great players do. You know that old saying, they make great players make other players great, and that's what he's doing tonight with his teammates. The Cowboys are still trying to find their way, and like I said to you earlier, it's like don't put water in the gas tank, because it's the Valencia Express got it going.
The timeout was called by the Canyon Cowboys. Second one used by Chad Phillips here in this first half. 5:26 to play in the first half. Valencia with that 9-point lead. This is 2 of the final 3 games in Valencia's season that they get to play at home. Does that mean they're in the driver's seat for that league championship?
Well, I know you'd rather play at home than on the road, so if that's the case, they definitely have the schedule in their favor.
Canyon basketball, Paul Naoji, Adams, inside Bryan, and we're gonna have a foul.
And there's your attack in the middle. Attack in the post area, get fouled. You know, after a while, this takes its toll because you start accumulating fouls on the opposition, and they have to defend you a different way.
First personal foul called against Lonnie Jackson, the team's 5th. Canyon only has 2 here in this first half, 5-10. So Canyon may be getting to the free throw line shortly, while Valencia may have to earn it a little bit harder. Here's Coley Apsey. Paul Naoji for 3. Can't go, but there's Brian Naoji getting a rebound. Can't get it to go, and is put back. And now we're gonna have a whistle, and this one's gonna go against the Canyon Cowboys.
Now, I like the work on the part of the Cowboys around the rim, but what they're doing is they're allowing the Vikings to box them out and reach, and they're trying to reach over the top for the rebound. They need to work themselves into an inside position so they're not reaching over the top.
Brian Naoji called for the foul. So all 3 team fouls have been committed by the Naoji brothers of Canyon.
Anybody named Naoji has a foul.
That's right. Here's Jackson to Tredick. Long 2. Nothing but net. Tanner Tredick averages 5 points a game. He's got 8 here in this first half. 4.5 to play in the first half.
Well, you keep assists by Jackson. He might approach a record tonight.
He may get a triple-double. He's on his way towards it with assists. He's got 4 points.
Who would have thought that they'd be having an 11-point lead? And Lonnie Jackson only has 4 points.
Adams for 3. Off the side of the rim. Jake Kelfer gets the rebound for the Vikings. Here comes Jackson. And immediately he's double teamed. If he's being double teamed, someone else is open.
Yeah, it's a simple math equation. Even I can figure it out.
Kelfer bringing it back up on top. Now Sansone. He's a 3-point threat, but he throws the ball away. 6th turnover committed by the Valencia Vikings. There is Adams. His shot no good. Battling. Adams pulls down the rebound, and a second chance, and a third chance, and he's going to get fouled the 3rd time.
And that's where they have to attack, but they haven't been successful at converting. And but if you keep working, you know, as a coach, you want to tell your kids to keep working, keep battling. I think good things are going to happen, and they got a foul in that situation.
Foul's going to be called against Aaron Spargo, his 2nd. Adams to the line to shoot 2.
Nothing makes me more unnerved than working hard to get it back, getting a foul, going to the line, and missing 2 free throws. And it's one of the tragedies in the sport. It's like a turnover. It's like you're giving the other team the ball.
53% on the season to Ray Adams from the line.
And that's exactly what it was. You come away with nothing there. It's like you threw it out in the crowd.
Great foul by Spargo, as it turns out.
It's all your hard work for nothing.
We're going to have a whistle away from Max Summer, who has the basketball.
Canyon's trying to get a little more physical on defense. They think that Valencia's had too easy of a time trying to score the basketball, so they're trying to get a little more physical.
Well, the foul's on Cody Moore, and his job right now is guarding Lonnie Jackson.
Right, and these officials are calling everything.
And the pass goes into Jackson. Moore is getting help with a couple of extra buddies. Triple teaming, and a great pass from Max Summer to Aaron Spargo to put it in. Spargo now with 6 points. He's the 2nd leading scorer on this Valencia team behind Tanner Tredick.
And I'll tell you, Lonnie Jackson's playing a spectacular game tonight, even though he doesn't have the points that he normally has. That's what makes him great.
The assist. Isaac Covarrubias is into the game for Canyon. This is Adams. Driving in, pushing off of Tredick, but Tredick pulls down the rebound, and now we're going to have a foul, and this one's going to go against Canyon.
They're very frustrated, the Cowboys. I mean, they look like a frustrated team. They just can't hit a jump shot, and as they do that, they start frustrating and fouling people.
Tredick may be a little bit shaken up. He went down hard trying to pull that rebound away. The foul's going to be called against Isaac Covarrubias.
He'd have to get hit by a Mack truck to be hurt. That kid is indestructible. And I know he doesn't want to come out of the game, so he's not going to give any indication that he's hurt.
He may be seeing a couple of different stars in his eyes right there.
Yeah, but he knows, hey, if I tell him I'm hurt, I'm going on the bench. And I may never get back in. So he's that kind of warrior mentality that the coaches love. Now, you never want to play a kid that's hurt. I'm not saying that, but sometimes the best indicator of whether you can go or not is the kid himself.
6'1" senior Tanner Tredick. And it's been his desire and his passion to play the game. I'll be honest with you. Coach Collins telling me before the game a couple years ago, they weren't sure if Tanner was going to be able to make the varsity team, but he proved himself during summer ball of how much of a difference he is to this team. And if it wasn't for him, according to Coach Rocket Collins, this team would not be challenging for this championship.
Yeah, you don't have to score 100 points a game to be an effective high school player at this level. And he's definitely proven that.
2:05 to play in the first half. 8 seconds now on the shot clock. Cross court to Kelfer. He's got 3 seconds. Bartol gets the rebound, and then we're going to have a whistle. And judging by the body language of Aaron Spargo, I think the foul is going to be called against Aaron.
Yeah, and I hate to say this with almost 2 minutes to go in this half. If I'm Canyon, I just want to get into the locker room and try to straighten this thing out. They just look confused and not like the teams that we saw, beat Golden Valley and get some other wins this year.
So Wesley Bartol is to the line for the 1-and-1. Obviously makes the front end. He's now got 6 points, cuts the lead in half now for the Vikings, 24-12. Bartol makes it look easy. 66% from the free throw line is Bartol, and tonight are 4 of 6, which is right around their average of 64% as a team from the free throw line. Max Summer to Kelfer to Jackson. Jackson driving baseline, acrobatic. That's Griffin Nichols cleaning it up with the offensive rebound. He puts it in. 7 different Valencia Vikings have now scored in this game.
Well, Lonnie Jackson draws that attention from coming from everywhere, and it leaves players open.
Adams, Covarrubias, Cody Moore. Bartol, 15 seconds on the shot clock. 10 seconds. Adams for 3. Bartol gets the rebound. Bartol's getting trapped in that baseline. And he loses control, and Bartol's down there on his backside looking up at Levon's going, how is it that you're going to call me for the ball having going out of my hands?
Well, he was trying to draw some contact, but it doesn't necessarily mean that Valencia's going to bite on it. And, sometimes you fall to the ground, you think the loud thud will get you the call, and it generally doesn't.
Inside of a minute to play in the first half. 13-point lead for Valencia. Jackson, nice pass to Nichols down inside, and look at Lonnie Jackson lighting up the assist board, making his teammates play that much better. Griffin Nichols with 4 points.
Yeah, the Canyon doesn't have any answer for him. Lonnie Jackson, the passer tonight, they seem to have a good answer for Lonnie Jackson to score, but sometimes it's one and the same.
This is Haggerty. And Nichols comes charging out to get on to Haggerty.
I would never foul Canyon because they haven't proven they can hit an outside shot.
Trey Adams. No good. Jackson gets the rebound. Shot clock is off. 10 seconds to play in the first half. Jackson Semmer, it's gonna be too long. Kelfer gets it, throws it up, can't get it to go. So good first half from the offensive side for Valencia, 28 points, but perhaps what the coaching staff, led by head coach Rocket Collins, has got to be most pleased with is the defensive side for the Valencia Vikings, limiting the Canyon Cowboys to just 13 points in this first half. Greg and I take a look at first half stats and have a few of our thoughts when we return to SCVTV's presentation of Foothill League basketball. Halftime here at Valencia High School, the student section out in force. I have no idea who that is that they're holding up, but it's one of their favorites, I guess. And
is that a guy on Valencia's team?
I don't know.
It's not Landon Donovan, is it? That's the only guy I know.
You don't know David Beckham?
Yeah, him too. Everybody is Landon Donovan.
And I know you know Victoria Beckham.
Yes, I happen to know.
First name basis, I understand she keeps calling.
Yeah, doesn't she have some fancy name, professional name?
She was one of the Spice Girls.
Yeah, but she had don't they have weird names?
Talk to your daughter.
Okay.
She'll fill you in.
They have weird names.
28-13, a championship game, championship caliber game. Canyon scored 13 points in the first half.
Now, if you would have told me, not only do they only have 13, but Valencia has 28. If you'd have said to me 28-13, I would have told you Canyon was winning the game because that was their intention to keep the score down. But the tables have turned.
So the Cowboys have the basketball. Their leading scorer so far is Wesley Bartol. He's the one who's got the ball, 7 points in the first half. Now it's Apse, 10 seconds on the shot clock. Brian Naoji back to Apse, inside to Ray Adams. Adams, pump fake off the glass, good.
And Coach Phillips got to like that because that's what they need to do to get back in this game.
Bennett to Kelfer. Back to Bennett, corner for three.
Don't put water in my gas tank, I'm telling you. They're firing on all pistons tonight.
Brandon Bennett now with 5 points. He's a 32% shooter from behind the arc. Makes his first three tonight.
Well, the Cowboys in their attempts to try to guard Lonnie Jackson, they're forgetting to guard everybody else.
Here's Bartol, thinks the three. He's got Jackson guarding him. Here's Trey Adams, another three attempts, and that's going to be Tredick pulling it down.
The garbage man.
Lonnie Jackson bringing it down. He had 7 assists in the first half, and they're going to call a carry.
I think he did carry the ball. I mean, he tried to change direction, and a lot of times good players do that when they try to change direction. It's hard to go laterally without carrying the ball over sometimes.
7 turnovers now committed by the Valencia Vikings. Canyon has committed 5. So a fairly error-free game to this point. 6:15 to play in the third. And the Cowboys trying to eat up a lot of clock. You would think that they had the top end of that lead of 16 points.
Well, that's their style, and it's hard to go away from what got you to this point. I mean, they're 17-7. This is the way they play.
10 seconds on the shot clock. Coley Apse, who has not yet scored, and he somehow gets away with a walk. Lonnie Jackson comes up with the basketball. And Apse, the steal, and then the foul. And I think this one's going to be called against Valencia's Jake Kelfer. Yes, it is. Jake Kelfer called for the foul. That will be his first and the Vikings' first team foul. And Coley Apse very slow to get up. Brian Naoji pointing to the bench saying, hey, he's got himself a tweak of some sort there on that left leg.
Well, there's another kid, a very competitive kid, doesn't want to come out, but he can barely walk as he stumbles off to the bench. He needs some medical attention for sure.
So instead, he's going to go sit next to Chris Quant. What's Quant going to do?
Dr. Quant, Medicine Man. Isn't that a movie, TV show?
That was Dr. Quinn. Wasn't it? And she was a woman.
Oh, okay.
Cowboys ball. By the way, Isaac Covarrubias checked into the game for. And there's Covarrubias. He's got the ball. Puts up a three. Back of the rim, no good. And there's Tredick pulling down yet another rebound for the Valencia Vikings. Jackson. Kelfer. Back to Jackson for three. On the rim, no good. Haggerty is going to get the rebound. And right now the numbers favor Canyon. It's a 5-on-4 break as Jackson had slipped back on the other end. He rejoins the fight though.
But like I said, that's not the way, that's not their personality.
Haggerty for three. No good. Brian Naoji pulls down the offensive rebound and puts it back in.
I think that every time the Cowboys are forced to shoot a perimeter shot, that's a moral victory for the Vikings. The shooting percentage is terrible tonight, and yet they keep trying to fix it by shooting three-pointers from the perimeter.
And that's Brian Naoji's first field goal of this game. It's a 14-point Valencia lead, 4.5 to play in the third quarter. This is Kelfer. Bennett. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Jackson is getting double teamed and there is not a chance. Shot clock violation. Defense that time by the Canyon Cowboys as Lonnie Jackson was getting double teamed by Isaac Covarrubias and by Haggerty, Darnell Haggerty, near midcourt just as the time expired.
Well, I blame his teammates on that. I mean, he's coming out to half court to get the ball with 3 seconds to go. They should be looking at the basket because you know he's going to get double teamed. So they need to look somewhere else at that point in time on the shot clock.
Ryan Russ gets his first action of tonight's game. He's in for Valencia, number 21. Aaron Spargo is also checked in for the Vikings.
Yeah, look at the distance between Valencia's defense and the shooter. It's almost uncanny how they're about 2 steps away from the shooters.
Here's Bartol for three. And the ball goes out of bounds as Haggerty tries. A nice effort to get to that basketball, but it will be Valencia basketball.
Yeah,
and now timeout called by Chad Phillips. Well, 3:40 to third quarter. Your Canyons coach right there, the man in the green coat right there with the goatee. Father of 3. And you've only scored 17 points. What are you trying to do for your team?
Well, as I look at him, I see how frustrated he is. They can't make an outside shot for whatever reason tonight. Whether they're consistently good at it, I'm under of the opinion that they're not a perimeter shooting team. So a defensive strategy against them would to be encouraged the perimeter game. And they're falling right into the strategy of the Vikings by doing that. I just would try to get it inside. I mean, do a little more screening, block the block, trying to get guys open. Even if you're not going to make those, you got a chance to maybe follow them in with offensive rebounds, which is what they're good at. I mean, they're good at stick backs around the basket. So, you know, you got to do what you're good at. I mean, if somebody gives you a wide open shot, there may be a reason for that. Not that you worked really hard to get open, but they want you to shoot the ball. I always tell kids that all the time. They go, Coach, why? I was open. They didn't throw me the ball. I go, why do you think you were open? Because they want you to get it, and they want you to shoot it. So sometimes, you know, if you're wide open, it's a good thing for the defense.
The Cowboys averaging better than 60 points a game in their previous 24 games. And they're on the short end right now. This is Ryan Russ. Spargo.
Well, I think Lonnie Jackson's getting a little frustrated.
Well, he's getting double teamed and he's getting pounded. And a foul is going to be called this time against Darnell Haggerty. And that will be his his first personal. Team's first here in this second half.
I think Canyon's tightened up the lid.
Shot no good, but there's Tredick pulling down the offensive rebound. And a nice pass to Ryan Russ off the glass.
Wow, how he saw him from that deep corner is amazing.
8 now. 8 different Vikings have scored for Rocket Collins in this game. They lead by 16 inside of 3 minutes to play in the third quarter. Brian Naoji to Haggerty. Koliapsi obviously back into the game now.
They just will not now. Their confidence is shot, and they won't shoot a perimeter shot.
Haggerty drives in, can't get it to go. He gets the rebound, goes to put it back up, knocked away by either Tredick or Spargo. Spargo's the one who came up with the ball. And then turned over on the other end, and we're going to have a foul.
So you had numbers in transition there. You had Lonnie Jackson filling the right lane for just because of his limited size. I mean, he's 5'8". Your vision's affected. I mean, you just can't see guys like a big player would be able to see.
Well, Aaron Spargo has just committed his 4th personal foul with 2:27 to play in the 3rd quarter. So Griffin Nichols has checked in for him. Also checking in is Troy Hamill. He's going to replace Jake Kelfer as the point guard.
And Rocket Collins has done a great job of utilizing his bench tonight with various 5-man rotations here. He's done a great job.
Bartol had the shot at the top of the key for the 3, and going back to your point earlier, being gun shy now, doesn't take it, looks to pass.
That guy will shoot it.
Chris Quant. And Jackson gets the rebound. And Jackson, I don't know where he was throwing it to, but Brian Naoji gets the ball, and Wesley Bartol missing the finger roll.
I think he was debating whether he was going to dunk that or not. And he saw Lonnie Jackson coming. Lonnie Jackson's a premier shot blocker in this league, and he just got confused.
Ryan Russ for 3. No good. Well, watching Bartol during pregame warmups, actually during the girls' game, at halftime of the girls' game, Canyon went out there, and some of the guys were out there practicing some dunks, and he didn't hit one. So that may have played a factor, that maybe he's thinking, yeah, this rim's about a foot higher than it's supposed to be, because I can't get up there and dunk it.
Right, and he saw out of the corner of his eye who was tracking him down from behind, Lonnie Jackson, who's a tremendously gifted athlete. So a lot of times your mind plays tricks on you in those situations.
Tanner Tredick called for his first personal foul, the team's 3rd here in this 2nd half, as Zach Davis checks back into the game for the Valencia Vikings. Does Stevie Sansone. So Tredick is out, and Ryan Russ. Minute 10 to play in the 3rd.
How about Canyon only having 1 foul? That's telling me they're not playing very aggressively on defense.
Well, they only had, I believe it was 3 or 4 in the entire 1st half. Bartol loses control of the dribble, goes out of bounds. Turnover number 6 committed by the Cowboys.
Well, the cart is off. The wheels are off the cart here, and you know, with the 3rd period here running down, it looks pretty desperate for the Cowboys at this point. Inside
of a minute to go, as Bartol has a seat, and Ian Fletcher checks in for his first game action tonight for the Canyon Cowboys. But Valencia has the ball. Troy Hamill, top of the key. Stevie Sansone, he's a terrific 3-point shooter. Giving him a lot of cushion are the Cowboys. Griffin Nichols to Sansone, so away from the action before Sansone can get the shot off. And the foul is going to be called against Canyon's Darnell Haggerty. His 2nd personal foul. And a timeout. I believe that one was called by Canyon. Nope, it is called by Valencia. Their first time out here in the 2nd half.
Yeah, and I think what Coach Collins just wants to talk about is you don't want your players to act upon this frustration. Canyon's getting frustrated, and they're starting to get a little physical, you know, as these things happen. And when the game doesn't go your way, you might just give somebody that little extra shove. What Coach Collins is saying, don't react to it.
Now, I'm not sure what Lonnie Jackson is pointing to. I don't know if he may have some blood. That's Rocket Collins going over, and Greg Hayes, assistant.
He's sending a manager to the equipment room to get a new jersey because he's got blood on. He's got a cut somewhere, and it's bleeding through the uniform.
It's actually right around his waistband. So he is not going to be allowed to be back into the game until that can be squared away.
They're going to have to replace his jersey. You can't go on the floor with blood on your jersey. You know, they have this spray now that dissolves blood. It's very interesting. I didn't believe it till somebody showed it to me. That's unbelievable.
It dissolves it off of the uniform.
Yeah, but it's very expensive, and of course, you know, it doesn't drop down. It hasn't dropped down to the high school level yet. They better fix the cut. because he'll just bleed through that new uniform.
Well, Lonnie's going to go behind the bleachers, and the student section is over there, and they're all cramming to see him, watch him drop his shorts and change them.
Well, I don't think he's changing the shorts.
No, that's what she had. Was
Really?
Back to action, 25 seconds, and this one's going to go against the Valencia Vikings.
And that's Chris Quant trying to do anything in his power to change this momentum to his Cowboy teammates, taking a big charge there. That hurt for him to hit the floor.
Troy Hamill, the one that's called for the foul. This is Brian Naoji off the front of the rim, no good. Haggerty going up for the rebound. Now looks like he got shoved by Zach Davis. Yeah, Zach Davis is going to be the one that's going to get called for the foul. That is the 5th team foul committed by Valencia, the first by the sophomore Zach Davis.
Well, another example of a poor jump shot. They've given it to them, almost daring them to shoot the ball from the outside.
Covarrubias for 3. And Ian Fletcher pulls down the rebound. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Or excuse me, on the game clock. Seconds. Chris Quant throwing up a prayer. Can't go. 8 minutes to play in this extremely low scoring game. Canyon has scored just 17 points in the first 3 quarters of this game. When was the last time you saw that happen?
They just don't have anything going for themselves at the offensive end tonight. Valencia's playing this smart, forcing them to shoot the perimeter jump shots, and they're just not falling.
33-17, the 4th quarter when we return to SCVTV's presentation of Foothill League basketball. Herrick, that quarter, Canyon outscored Valencia. Valencia outscored Canyon 5-4.
Well, you know, it's well chronicled what I think about low-scoring basketball games. You have to wake half the crowd up to go home when it's over. But the difference is in this game, Valencia got off to an early lead, and they're playing the deliberate game too because they're playing against the clock.
Max Summer feeding it to Stevie Sampson for 3. Can't get it to go, but Lonnie Jackson pulls down the offensive rebound. Haggerty is all over him, running right-hander for Jackson is good. And Lonnie Jackson, for the first time to Valencia Viking, with 7:38 to play in the game, will be going to the free throw line.
Wow. And it just shows you the kind of game they played tonight. Guys been wide open for shots.
And they can't get it to go. Jackson's got 6 points.
I don't remember him ever having that low an output.
He has not. In fact, every single game, and we're going to have a whistle away from the action, every single game so far this year, as this foul is going to be called against Darnell Haggerty, his 3rd personal foul. But every single game for Lonnie Jackson, he has scored in double figures this year, and the Valencia Vikings have played 23 games.
Well, you know, if I'm Rocky Collins, I might even take him out. I mean, right now, you know, there might be some vendettas going on here for him to get hurt, but you don't want to lose him.
Jackson trying to feed to Zach Davis, and they're going to say it's going to be Canyon basketball. 11 turnovers committed by the Valencia Vikings. 7:05 to play in the game, and they lead by 18.
You know, it's how long do you want him to be in the game? I mean, when he's, you know, the game is obviously not in doubt.
And now we have another whistle away from the action. That's Chris Quant doing battle with Troy Hamill, or excuse me, Stevie Sansone. And actually they're going to call Zach Davis. Quant ended up on his backside. So for Zach Davis, that is his 2nd, Valencia's 6th here in this 2nd half. Coley Apse can't get it to go, but there's Haggerty getting the offensive rebound and the putback.
And at least you can say for Canyon working that offensive rebounds. They got a few of those. There's just not enough stickbacks to make a difference.
Haggerty averages better than 5 points a game. Those are his first 2 points of this game. Is a nice pass from Tredick into Zach Davis, who puts it off the glass. And Zach Davis, his first 2 points of this game, now making 9 players for Valencia in the scorebook.
Well, you know, what's been proven tonight is
And that's got to go against Haggerty, as Jackson is going to be the one who's going to take the charge.
You know what? Like I was saying, what Valencia's proved tonight is they can win a game without Lonnie Jackson, you know, being scoring over 20 points. And as they go into the playoffs, that's good to know if you're a coach.
Well, if you're Rocket Collins, you say, if 6 minutes to play in the game, I've scored 37 points. He's going to think I'm losing that game, as Lonnie Jackson, the standard, goes in. He is fouled. He'll go to the line once again for that three-point play.
Yeah, this could start getting real ugly if they decide to guard him with one man. He could get 20 points in the fourth quarter. I've seen that.
Bartol getting called for the foul, his first.
I'm just nervous about having him. He's missed 2 free throws tonight. That's the story.
On the season, he's 155 out of 178. He's only missed 23 all year. He's missed 2 tonight. The shot by Apsey, no good, but the rebound comes back down to Canyon. 5:45 to play in the game. Canyon down by 20 as Apsey makes it an 18-point difference, as Coley Apsey, averaging 9 points a game, gets his first 2 points of this game.
See, and I'm telling you right now, I've been involved in high school basketball and college basketball for over 30. This is the kind of game where the frustration level is such that somebody will do something they'll regret tomorrow. And it just always happens. And, you know, Lonnie Jackson is a focal point. I mean, and he's going to have the ball. I don't know. I might want to get him out of here and rest him.
Zach Davis going to the line for the 1-and-1. And he misses it. Apsey gets the rebound for Canyon. And now he's going to get trapped. He gets it out. In fact, they're going to call the foul before. Was on Brian Naoji, his third, as Apsey is going to get fouled. I think this one's going to go against Lonnie Jackson.
It's kind of funny because Lonnie Jackson usually gets that kind of defense every time down, and you don't get the foul call, but he does it to somebody else, and look what happens.
Second, the team's 7th, and so Cole Apsey is going to go to the line for the 1-and-1.
See, now the Valencia's made a lot of substitutions here, but they're keeping Lonnie Jackson on the floor. The only purpose I can see in doing this is that maybe, you know, to get his average up. I don't know. I'm just a little leery of that at this point in the game. 5 minutes, the game's pretty much, you know, in their favor. I don't want to be the Grim Reaper and predict something bad, but I've seen it many times.
Full court pressure by the Cowboys. Next summer, back to Jake Kilfer. And then a collision between Quant and Kelfer. Charge is going to be called against Jake Kelfer.
You know, the little guys are always good at that. You know, being able to take a charge away from the ball. And that's probably the best in the league at that.
Kevin Wallace is in the game for the Cowboys. He's been in for a bit since the free throw as Tanner Tredick pulls down the rebound on the missed Bartol shot. The alley-oop to Max Summer cannot do the reverse layup. Wallace gets the rebound for the Cowboys.
Now, Max Summer, what are you doing, son? Calling for the lob.
That's Bartol underneath, gets the friendly roll, and he is fouled.
You're calling for the lob on that play, like you're LeBron James or something, and then you had to make a circus shot for it to go in.
Tanner,
6'2", 155 pounds.
Well, maybe he's got some hops underneath those Nikes.
Obviously not.
Bartol for the three-point play. So Bartol with 10 points and absent, surprisingly I should say, as Teray Adams gets the steal. Bartol gets the offensive rebound and lays it in. And so with 4:27 to play, Valencia had a huge lead that is now down to 11, and so Rocket Collins calls for a timeout. to try to stem this tide as the Cowboys are starting to get back into this game.
Well, leave it to me to put the Knicks on the Cowboys too early. 4 minutes to go, an 11-point deficit's not something they can't recover from. So the Vikings are going to have to change direction here and not be so relaxed.
4:27 to play, and Canyon is starting to come on. I was making the point before that in this entire game, these two teams, Wesley Bartol is the only one who is in double figures, and he's now got 12 points after laying that one in after the steal.
Well, you're going to have to count on him to score some points. He's your guy, and he's your big player. So money players are the guys who have a tendency to come strong in these fourth quarter runs.
The lead was as much as 20, and Canyon right now on a 7-0 run as the pass goes down to Bennett, and he tangles up with Kevin Wallace, and I think they're going to call Wallace on that one.
Pass interference?
Yeah, you think?
Look like it.
Well, Wallace is a football player.
He knows what that's like.
He knows what's going on with that. So Brian Naoji is going to check back in for Wallace after Wallace picks up his first personal, the team's 8th. So going to the line will be Brendan Bennett for the 1-and-1, his first free throw of the game.
These are the shots that need to make down the stretch to keep this 11, 12-point margin.
And that is the first free throw made by Valencia.
Yeah, that's incredible statistic.
1 of 4. And the Valencia fans wanting a carry by Teray Adams, and instead they're going to get a travel called against Wesley Bartol of Canyon. According to our unofficial stat sheet, that's just the 8th turnover committed by the Canyon Cowboys.
Well, I think the story is not in the turnover department, but the missed shots that they've had.
Kelfer getting trapped and then gets it to Spargo, to Jackson, then down court to Tredick. And Tredick's going to draw the foul.
He did a nice job of using his body to ward off the defender. It's a smart play.
And the foul is going to be called against Brian Naoji. That will be his 4th personal foul with 4:01 to play in the game. And Tanner Tredick is going to go to the line to shoot 2, where he's a 75% shooter. And boy, the Vikings are just absolutely snake-bitten. You cannot blame me for that jinx. They have made just 1 of 6 from the free throw line tonight.
And I hate to be the Grim Reaper again, but if they lose this game with a 12-point lead, part of it is going to be that they couldn't make a foul shot.
So he makes the second one. It's a 13-point lead. Apse for 3. Look out. The Canyon Cowboys have been asleep for the first 3 quarters. In this quarter, though, they have come alive. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's a 12-1 run. 12-1 run. And now we're going to have a turnover.
And Lonnie Jackson carrying the ball over again.
It's a 10-point difference, and Canyon is playing a completely different game. 12-2 run, Jose tells me. Quant. Adams. And now we're going to have a foul. This one's going to go against Tredick. And it'll be
talking about double bonus, too.
Yeah, that's his 3rd personal, but the 10th team foul. So now Teray Adams gets the double bonus. He's going to the line to shoot 2. And he's 0 for 2 tonight. Now, how critical are these free throws going to be for the Canyon Cowboys down the stretch?
Well, they've got to make them all. I mean, they don't have any question. They got to, matter of fact, pretty much most of their shots. And they're going to have to turn the Vikings over a little bit. Hopefully in a full court press here that they're going to implement.
He's got it. 8-point lead. 3:20 to play in the game. Jackson, Spargo.
just like they jotted it down in practice.
8 points for Aaron Spargo. Quant. He's going to try to feed it over to either Bartol or Apse. The ball's going to get knocked out of bounds by Valencia. So Canyon will have 24 seconds, which really is secondary at this point. And it looks like Valencia is going to call a timeout with 3:05 to play in the game. Vikings lead by 10. This game is not over. Let us repeat that the Canyon Cowboys, Valencia Vikings, and Golden Valley Grizzlies are all tied of the Foothill League in the standings with 6-2 records. So this game has huge championship implications.
Yeah, I think it's an elimination game, like I said in the pregame. The loser of this game is going to be looking up at two teams at 7-2, and they'll be 6-3. And it'd be hard to believe that the two teams with 7-2 records, both of them would lose in the last week. So you kind of count yourself out of the championship picture if you lose this game tonight.
Well, then let's set the stage, because the winner of this game, should they go on and win Thursday night is our final Foothill League game, and should Golden Valley win out these final two, then they would be 8-2. They would end up as co-champions, because the head-to-head competition, they split. So what would end up happening is they would be co-champions of the Foothill League, but they would both go in as #1 seeds in their respective division. Why? Because Valencia, for example, is in Division 1A. They're ranked 9th. Canyon is in Division 2 AA, where they're ranked 13th. And for Golden Valley, they're in Division 3A, where they are in 9th place in the rankings. So they would be whoever would be the co-champions would go in as the #1 seed out of the Foothill League.
Right, and the bottom line is you got to win this game.
Trey Adams is going to get called for a charge. And that was Tanner Tredick, your lunch pail man,
Doing the
taking the charge.
He almost suffered a concussion earlier in the game. He takes a charge there. That guy, he's a working man's favorite right there. And then he goes and gets the ball for the referee. How about that?
Would you want him on your team?
Yes, I'd find a place for a guy like that on my high school basketball team. The worker. You got to have work even in the beehive. You got to have the queen bee, but you got to have the workers.
2:50 to play in the game. 10-point lead for the Vikings. And the quick inbound, and Jackson gets it across midcourt. And then he's going to get trapped as soon as he stops his dribble. Gets the ball down to Tredick. Blocked by Naoji.
I don't know what Quan is not much of a point guard, so I don't know what he's doing with handling the ball against the pressure in the backcourt.
Here's Trey Adams for 3. Here we go. His first 3 of the game. It's a 7-point difference.
And I think the Vikings are just in a hold-on mode, and they better be careful with that strategy. Oh, nice pass.
From Tredick to Kelfer, and Spargo then cleans it up. Aaron Spargo is in double figures with 10 points, and he leads the Vikings in scoring with those 10. 2 minutes to play in the game. This is Quant. Look at Bennett. Do you think he respects his three-point shooting? Yeah. Quant drives in too high off the glass. Battle for the rebound is going to be won by Lonnie Jackson.
And Quant's going to try to do that miss of the shot, foul the dribbler thing I always talk about.
Here's Tredick getting some penetration, kicks out to Bennett for 3. Spargo gets a huge offensive rebound. And now the coaching staff of the Vikings telling their team, hold it up. You can see Rocket Collins in the bottom of your screen. Hold it up, and now we're going to have a foul. This one's going to go against Trey Adams. And so Lonnie Jackson will go to the line to shoot 2, as that is now the 10th team foul, so the double bonus is now in effect for the Vikings.
Well, you know, when you're the Canyon Cowboys, you made a little spirited run there in the 4th quarter. You still got to get stops at the other end. You can't match the other team. And Lonnie Jackson, I don't think he's ever played in the game. He's missed 3 free throws. This game is all backwards for me tonight.
Well, it's a 10-point lead for the Vikings with 1:12. Bartol off the glass and good. And Wesley Bartol with 14. Bennett, and he's going to get hacked by Brian Naoji. That will be his 5th personal foul for Brian Naoji, so he is done.
Yeah, I always like this part of the game. If you're a good free throw shooter, you can get 2, 4, 6 points just in the last minute of a game if you just hang on to the ball. I think Brandon Bennett was doing that in the corner over there. He said, just come and foul me. I want to get 2 more points in this game.
Tonight, Brandon Bennett is 1 for 2 from the line as Brian Naoji takes a seat on the bench for the rest of the game. His brother Paul checks in for him. Bennett's a 54% free throw shooter. It's a word of encouragement from Lonnie Jackson.
Lonnie Jackson said, no, they fouled you because you have a 54% free throw percentage. Give it to the guy that has 80.
And look at Aaron Spargo. What a huge play and a huge game for Aaron Spargo, leading the Vikings in scoring with 12 points as he gets that offensive rebound. And now Bennett picks up the loose basketball on the steal. 45 seconds to play in the game, and Valencia leads by 11. Jackson just getting absolutely hassled. This one's going to go against Trey Adams.
And I bet you he makes these. He's missed how many tonight? 3?
He is 1 for 4.
Wow.
From the line tonight.
I bet you he makes these. You got to remember, he was in a different mode in the first half as a player. We said Lonnie Jackson the passer. You know, it was a different mentality for him tonight. So maybe it affected his ability to go to the line, which he hadn't done very often tonight.
And that keeps his streak alive of every single game this year being in double figures. He's now got 10 points.
Wow.
2 of 6. He's missed 23 all season. He's missed 4 tonight. Trey Adams drives it in. Count the bucket. He's fouled. Foul's going to be called against Brandon Bennett.
You know, in this game tonight, you see Canyon struggling right from the get-go. And you got to say to them, they've had a wonderful year. I mean, they've done a nice job. They have some really quality wins. 17 wins so far this year.
Because Bennett was left wide open.
Some more foul shots, see?
He's going to kick it out to Kelfer. 22 seconds to play in the game. Shot clock is off. Jackson back to Kelfer. And I don't think the Cowboys are interested in fouling as Bartol kicks it out of bounds. And so the Vikings will get the ball with 10.3 seconds. Well, you talk about the Canyon Cowboys. They weren't even in the conversation in terms of league championships because everyone was focusing on Valencia and Golden Valley. And then they rattled off that 4-0 start. And here they are battling for this championship, but it's not going to be this year as the Valencia Vikings defeat the Canyon Cowboys 50-41. The Vikings improved to 20-4 overall, 7-2 in league play. Canyon Cowboys dropped to 17-8 overall, 6-3 in league play. Your final thoughts on this game tonight?
Well, if you'd have told me Valencia would have won with 50 points, I would have said that can't be. But the defense by the Vikings tonight was absolutely brilliant. The strategy to force the Canyon Cowboys to the perimeter game was brilliant on the part of the coaching staff. And Valencia can sit back, and they have a tough game coming up against Saugus here on Thursday night. So don't count your chickens yet, but that was a big win for them.
We're going to be following these Canyon Cowboys over to West Ranch on Thursday night for the final game of the regular season. We'll watch and see how well those Cowboys can rebound from this tough loss. The leading scorers tonight for the winning Valencia Vikings, led by Aaron Spargo's 12 points. Lawson did get double figures. He got 10, followed by Tanner Treddick's 8 points. For the Canyon Cowboys, they were led by Wesley Bartol's 14 and Trey Adams contributing with 10 points. Again, the final score, the Valencia Vikings defeating the Canyon Cowboys 50-41. For Greg Herrick and our entire crew, I'm Dave Caldwell. Thanks for being here and watching us, everybody. We will see you again next time.